Hello, Chulai.
Hello, Ian. Good
Uh,
morning. How are you?
oh, very well, thank you. Thank you. Blue.
Wonderful.
I am honestly blue sky out there.
Yes. It's so nice
Yes.
out here, isn't it? For at the
Yeah.
time of
Yeah.
recording, this is a beautiful day.
Beautiful November day. Yeah,
November
in
day.
the year
Yes.
2023. Yeah, I've
Yes.
been for a dog walk this morning. Oh, don't say that word. She's sitting in the chair behind me in the studio here.
She might get excited.
Yes. Yes. Have to be careful. Have to have all sorts of code words when you've got a dog around,
Is that right?
otherwise
You
they
just said dog again.
pick up. Oh, that's all right. Yeah, dog's good, but it's the WALK that
Oh, I see.
he
That's
probably
what.
even knows the sound of the spelling of it. So, I'm putting myself for we have to have completely random words like elephantization, which, just made up nonsense code words that she can't possibly guess what it
That's
means.
hilarious.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
hilarious. Yes.
Yeah. They are intelligent
I
creatures.
know.
They may know
Now you
nothing
have
about.
a teenager
Yeah.
and a dog at home. Like,
Oh,
how do you cope
yes.
with your life?
Yeah. You just don't worry about sanity too much at this stage.
Okay. Oh God, we have all that to look forward to then,
Yeah, yeah, that's brightened everybody's day up a bit. Yeah, no,
hasn't it
it's great.
just?
I love it. You know, um, it's it's never things are never perfect, are they? Whether it's things happen at the perfect time or whatever. You think I could take the dog out for a walk on a nice day. That's lovely, but then she'll go and jump in a ditch or something and get trashed, and you got to give her a bath when you get home and stuff
Oh
like that.
no. Yeah.
But and then, of course, no need to talk about the fact that you have to go out with a scoop out in the garden and
Oh God.
pick some
Yeah. I feel
pieces up. Shall I leave it like that so it's not too graphic an image? But these are not the reasons why you have a dog, but they're things you got to just deal with. So you just
I
get
do
on and
wonder
do it.
sometimes why people do have a
Oh
dementia.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yes, it can be a planning nightmare. I mean,
Yeah.
we're going to see our family in South Africa over
Oh
Christmas and New
yeah.
Year. You see, we're away for 3. Fortunately, we've got a little gang of us. Well, I say a gang. There's sort of 3 families that have dogs. And
Hmm.
we look after each other's dogs when we're each, either one is away, whatever.
Ah, that's
So,
good, isn't it?
so it's our turn to have our dog looked after this time. We've done a lot of looking after of the other 2 over the year, but it's
Hmm.
great. If you like dogs, it's a nice thing to do. Um, so yeah, but it's never, there's no free lunch, as they say. There's always
Yeah.
some cost to the pay, but
Yeah.
it's not a reason to not have a dog. But then, there's lots of other factors to take into consideration. If you're living on your own and working 12 hours a day, probably having a
Hmm.
dog is not for you. So
Yeah.
there are
No.
all
No.
sorts of, as cute and nice as they are, it's not practical. So yeah, all these things to think about. But
Yeah.
I'll try
As
and
you were
I'll try and
saying,
focus on.
I
Go on.
picked up on the fact that you said nothing is perfect. Well, that's an interesting phrase you used there.
It is. I keep saying to Daniel, don't let what is it? I say, don't let perfect get in the way of better. There you
Oh
go.
yeah,
That
that's
one's
right. That
straight
one.
out of the industrial workplace. That
Yes,
is.
that's
But
right.
it's some of these things are good. I mean, I have a bit of a laugh at some of the courses and things that you go on during the course of your career and whatever.
Mm.
And, it's some of it's good and some of it's you think, oh, somebody's just making money out of inventing this stuff. But you try and take the best for, I'd always try and just take the best for me and just let the rest go,
Mm.
really.
That's all we could do, and it's great. Perfect, don't let perfect get in the way of good or better, whatever the phrase
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
But
yeah.
also, I mean, there is perfect. I would say perfect for who?
Oh, yeah. Okay. You're perfect or my perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect is a relative term.
Yeah.
It can change based on who
Hmm.
is looking at it. Whose standards are you measuring it against?
Hmm.
And perfection actually doesn't exist. Like I said, because of this reason, that your perfect is different to mine. Your
Hmm.
perfect life looks like having a teenager and a dog and going for a walk
Yeah.
or whatever. And having a dog is my worst nightmare,
Yeah, sure.
for
Yeah, yeah.
example.
I
So
get that. I get that
so
entirely.
our
Absolutely.
our idea of perfect is different. So therefore, I see the reason why I brought up this topic today is that there are so many people in my circle, and
Right.
especially within my clients,
Yes.
they
Yeah.
always strive for this perfection. this whole the on a
Mm.
pedestal, this big
Yeah.
perfect, everything is perfect,
Mm.
the presentation is perfect, they are perfect, they got all the skills, all the whatever. But and this is a big um what's the word I'm looking for? It's a big deception, really. Deception
Okay.
in the fact
Yeah.
that the perfection is actually slowing you down. Trying to be perfect is slowing you down and almost
Mm.
killing your career,
Well,
dare
yeah,
I
it's sort of
say.
like wasted. Wow, okay, yeah, no, that's good. Wasted energy, isn't it then? Not moving you forward, maybe, is
It
what we're
is,
saying.
it is pretty much true. And you might be wondering, so why is that?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah.
And even if you were, Brent, you are now wondering, why is that?
Y yes, I need to be making sure that I'm wondering that, yeah. But I am, yeah. I do want to know, yeah, especially when we're talking about, yeah, we've talked about truth, your truth and my truth and whatever. I mean, we can have an argument for a
Yeah.
century about
So the
absolute
truth,
truth, but perfection's different.
yeah, the
Perfection, I
perfection
can
is different.
understand. Yeah.
So why is perfect?
Mm,
Why is trying to be perfect is actually is killing your career, and why is it working backwards towards yourself? Because the reason why you're searching for perfection
hmm
or trying to be perfect and trying
Yeah.
to prove yourself to the others is because
Right.
you already believe that you are not.
Right.
Y-
Okay. So we're back to belief in that. Yeah. Yeah. We're back
Yeah.
to my
The,
perfect or your perfect.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. A
Well, the
perfect
the
night.
thing is that
Yeah.
every action and every behavior that we have is driven by a belief and a thought that is created by that belief,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
therefore that leads to actions. And the thought, so the thought is I'm not perfect, therefore I
Uh-huh.
must try and be perfect. And the belief
Sure.
is that I'm not good enough, and if I try and be perfect, then I'm going to be validated by everybody else. I'm going to be accepted and I'm going to get there, whatever it is, the
Mm.
promotion or uh, acceptance from others, especially your managers or whatever. But if you believe, here's the thing, this is so
Right.
critical.
Right. Okay. Yeah. This is the bit. Yeah.
If you believe that you're not perfect, if you believe that you are not good enough, rather,
Yes. Yes.
all you're going to do is to project that to the external world. And
Right. If that's
until,
what you okay, if that's what you believe, so yeah, so you're like a film. You're showing the world what you believe, what you think of yourself,
yeah,
and they're gonna look at you, they're gonna look at your film show and say, oh, he doesn't think he's good enough, she doesn't think she's good enough.
so until you believe that you are good enough,
Yeah.
then nobody else is going to be believing you. And the reason for that is that your your brain is designed to fit your external reality to your
Oh,
beliefs.
I see.
Yeah,
And that sounds a bit the wrong way around to me.
it isn't. And
Oh,
I'll demonstrate to you.
okay. Yeah.
If you believe in something, you're going to try and find the evidence. You're going to find the evidence to validate your belief.
Yes, that makes sense.
That
Yes.
makes sense. And this is an example. Here's an example. And this is what you project to the outside world. This is a
Yeah.
very good, great example that we did in one of those corporate trainings that we did when I
Okay.
was trained in corporate diversity and inclusion kind of training.
Oh yeah.
And it's a labeling exercise. If you're labeled by other people
Yeah.
in a certain way, after a while you start to believe that you are in that way. And
Right.
in this case, the
Right.
labeling
hmm
would be that you would label yourself
hmm Yep.
as you must be perfect or you're not good enough, therefore you must try and be perfect. But because you're not good enough, that's the dominating thought,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense. And
Yes.
you what you do is you try and find evidence that where you are not good enough. You see, he already said, I failed that because I'm not good enough. You're going to find the evidence. So the example of the training was that we put a number of people in a circle, like a half circle, sitting down with a label in their head, and the
Okay.
label said a certain thing, but the people who were holding the label didn't know what the label actually said. So and they did a role play for 10 minutes.
I
And
can say I've done a party game like that where you have to guess who you are.
yeah,
Anyway, that's a
something along
different
those lines.
topic. Yeah, do carry on. Just reminded me. Yeah. So
So
we're all sitting there with these labels on our head, but we don't know what label we're wearing. Okay, where does it go from here?
yeah, so in this specific game, this person this year, this person who is really loud and really kind of very outspoken person, if you like, was sat right at the end of this half circle,
Yeah.
and he was wearing the label invisible. And obviously during the role play, everybody was treating him like they would dismiss his ideas, they would ignore him
Oh,
completely,
right.
and nobody would speak to him. After 1 or 2 minutes, he literally turned himself physically away from the rest of the group and sat there completely invisible, didn't say a word for the rest of the exercise.
Wow, that's fascinating.
I mean,
Right.
just even
I get
talking
it.
about it, I'm having goosebumps right now.
Yeah,
And
I get
it's
it now. Yeah.
so it's so whatever the label that you're giving
Yeah.
yourself, you behave in that way, and the evidence from the outside will point to that all the time. So whatever
Wow.
you do, you must,
Yes.
so that if you're believing that you're not good enough, you're going to find events, people who, and whatever is going to validate your not good enoughness. Here's another example. This is very good example. Basically, if you're not good enough, here you go. Delving even deeper, this is your identity. You're not being good enough. This is your label. This is your
Mm,
identity.
yeah.
And if you are, no matter how hard you work to be perfect, if you are actually perfect one day, if you get everything right, that no longer validates your identity, which will put you into kind
Oh,
of difficulty. This is why people who, for
yes. I
example,
get it.
this is why people who are in abusive relationships, for example, even when they leave that relationship, they go
Mm,
to another abusive relationship and another one because that validates who they are. Because they believe that they are not worthy of having a good relationship,
wow. Oh,
they seek that and they project that without even realizing. So the seeking for
yes.
perfection comes from the fact that you don't believe that you're good enough,
Mm,
and other people's opinions, other people's feedback will give you that exactly that. And until you become clear on who you are and what you are, what your value is already, no matter how
mhm.
much you achieve or whatever, then
Right. Yeah.
nobody's going to see that. So it's all comes from you. It's your
Mm,
projection to the
mm,
external world. Yeah.
Well, that that's great because then this actually means okay, it's probably a difficult thing to do at first, and people are going to be thinking, "Well, yeah, I'm not used to this sort of stuff." But it is actually something then that you can do for your betterment, isn't it? And for the, to cure this
Well, it
problem for
is
yourself
because
because it's not relying on outside, and you can't rely on outside, but you should be
mm,
able to learn to rely on yourself.
that's
Shouldn't you?
exactly right, and good job you pointed that out, because if you're seeking for that external validation, it's great. It's great when you're validated, but
Yes.
what's going to happen when you're not validated?
Yeah.
Not everybody is going to agree with you. Not everybody is going to like what you present. Not everybody is going to buy into your idea of perfect, or your idea of perfect is going to be different to the idea of the perfect of the person you want to get validation from. And when that
Yes.
happens, that's when everything goes wrong,
Wow.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
what was I going to say? There was something I was going to say. Yeah, so
Okay.
it needs to come from within you. You have to take the responsibility to do that, and until you believe it, you're not going to project it to the external world. This wasn't what I was going to say, but it will come to me in a second.
Sure. Yeah. 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 That's it. We talk about things and things come
Yeah.
in our mind and go. It's all. It just shows how complex yet simple it can be. You'll think of it. I know you want to. I don't know if now is a good time to just perhaps take a breather
Oh yeah,
on
that's a
the
good idea. Let's not think about it. It will come when
I
we do.
want to come back and ask a question, but we're going to take it. We don't normally do this in the podcast. We're going to just take a short break to talk about something else.
Yeah.
But when we come back from that little thing, I want to try and think about why I'm just going to ask you. You don't have to answer now, but why do we have to be perfect to be good enough? That's just a little thought I've got in my head. But
Ooh.
let's put that on pause. I'll
Hmm.
remember that question, I think, and let's just take this break and talk about something else. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
well,
go
yeah,
on.
I
What is it,
wanted to
Sheila?
take this break specifically as some of the listeners may or may not know that I've been doing these weekly master classes every week. It started in September, and now it's going to carry on till the 12th of December. So we have really exciting classes coming up, and if you want to register for those classes, the registration is still open, and it is always in our podcast show notes. So you can register for those. And the class that's coming up is going to be so the class is coming up is going to be about there's a two-part series. I'm talking about why the burnout, the three causes of burnout, and how we can actually overcome that for
Yeah.
once and for all, because we don't
Mm, mm.
if you're not aware of what we need to change, we can't change it. And again, we're going to talk about it next week. So what I want people to do is to register for those classes right now, and they can get the recording once they register, even if they cannot attend. Those classes take place every Tuesday at 12 p.m. UK time, and they can come and join live. It's only half an hour, and they can come and ask questions, but
Great.
also they
Yeah.
can get the recording if they can't catch it. So that's what I wanted to say.
Right. Is this going to be available indefinitely for people, or is there some kind of
It's
cut-off date
well,
here?
right now it's available in a playlist for them to keep only if they register. And once they have the playlist, I urge people not to share it with anybody, because it's only available for those who register and who is part
Right.
of this mini masterclass series.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to find a link for people to come and join as well. I think that would be a great idea to do that.
Okay, so while you're doing that, let me just say then at the time of this recording, we're in November 2023, and
Yeah,
this is coming up, as Chulai says, up until the 12th of December.
yeah,
So if you've gone if you're listening to this podcast some years in the future, some months in the future, whatever, then unfortunately you've obviously missed the live event going on in December 2023.
yeah.
But look out, look out at at Chulai's website, because I'm sure no matter how many years in the future, she's going to be doing something somewhere along
Yeah.
the line that's going to be relevant, and you're going to be kind of in the right place for it.
And
So,
yeah, here's the
I'm talking to
registration.
people 10 years in the future here and beyond.
Yeah, that's
This
true.
trying to be a little bit timeless here.
True.
Um,
Here's the registration link. It's obviously www.tulaimassi.com/weekly-mindset-nuggets- with Dr. Tulai Massi. So each word has got a dash in between and another dash after Massi, a mini masterclass series with a dash in between all of them. So, but like I said, in the show notes, this will be placed so people can come and register and invite their friends to register as well. And only when you register, you will get the recording available to
great.
you.
Perfect. Okay, let's hope people respond to that.
Yeah.
Back to the main discussion today. We've got about 5 minutes left. I was posing a question: why do we have to be perfect to be good enough? That was kind of the gist of what I was getting at. Are you
Because,
able to comment on that, or
well, this is the whole episode. This is what I've been commenting on. The fact that you don't
Okay,
believe you're good enough is the fact,
yeah,
because you don't believe you're good enough, you're trying
yeah.
to be perfect to be good enough.
Yeah, this
But
is exactly what we're saying. So,
yeah,
I just want to put it the other way around and saying, well, why should we be perfect?
mm,
Just to try and help people break that. For me, what I'm hearing is that there shouldn't be a link between perfect and good enough. And I think you said, if I understood properly, once you achieve that perfection thing, well, you're still not necessarily going to be validated. So it doesn't,
yeah,
if I've understood correctly, but
you did, because everybody's idea of perfect is
yeah,
different. Perfect
right.
for food. I mean, even good enoughness is the same. Good enough for who? Good enough for what?
Mm.
What situation? And
Mm.
So there should be no comparison to anyone or any standard. You are
Uh-huh.
already good enough just as you are. As
Yeah.
we said, the perfection
Yes.
comes from the fact that you are living and breathing and bringing your value, your energy to this world in the first place. And
Yes.
here's what I was going to say,
Brilliant.
especially in workplaces coming up to the year end, people talk about their personal development and discussions, and most people focus on what they are lacking. Most people focus on their weaknesses,
Oh, yes, yes,
and
yes.
they try and put plans in place to be slightly better at what they are not good at. But why do
Yes.
that? Why do that?
Yes.
It's a waste of your energy, like you said at the very beginning. Why not embrace what we already have? Why not be proud of who we are and what skills and what good qualities that we bring, and exasperate that? Because we work in a place with lots of other people.
Hmm.
What I can't do, you can do. What you can do, what you can't do, and I can do. So that's why people complement each other. That's why teams
Absolutely. I
exist.
totally agree. We need each other.
Yeah.
We do
So,
need each other. People need each other. Teamwork, teamwork's good, working together. As you say, what I'm good at, you're not. What you're good at, I'm not. And
yeah.
we complement each other. That's absolutely right. I totally relate in my own personal experience to
Mm.
how I've been encouraged to work upon my development opportunities. I'm not
Yeah,
even allowed to call them weaknesses. On one occasion, I
I
said,
know.
"Oh, forget it. They're weaknesses. I don't mind being weak. We've all got some weaknesses. Men don't like to say they're
Oh, I
weak.
see.
We're strong, we're tough, macho. But we all have strengths and weaknesses. Just use the words for goodness sake.
Yeah, yeah,
And play to your. I wish if I could turn the clock back, what would I change about the way I worked? I would want to play to my strengths and stop worrying so much about the weaknesses.
mm,
Accept the weaknesses. It doesn't matter. It doesn't define who I am, either now or then or in the future.
mm,
Play to your strengths.
yeah,
And I feel quite strongly about that these days, and that's what I try and do. That's how I try and live life now. If I can't
definitely.
do something, I'll find somebody else who can do it for me while I get on with what I'm good at.
Yeah,
That's
hindsight is a
that's
good thing, isn't it, Ian? And that's what I was saying to one
Of
of my
course, we
clients.
can look back. We can't turn the clock back. We always say,
Yeah,
if I could turn the clock back, I would do it. Well, we can't. But actually, we've got to believe that there is a tomorrow.
mm,
We've had this conversation before. You can never be guaranteed a tomorrow, but that's been your whole life. You've never been
yeah,
guaranteed a
yeah,
tomorrow. So
yeah,
stop worrying about that. Assume you've got some tomorrows and start getting it right now. Don't worry about turning the clock. Turn the clock back to now, if you like,
yes.
and do it right from this point. How about that? That's real.
That's a great place to finish, but also
Okay.
and also I was going to say, yes, a perfect place to finish. And, hindsight is a good thing. And it's because of those experiences that we are now here to be able to impart that to other people and just say, forget working on your weaknesses. It doesn't matter. Focus on what you're already good at, what you bring to this world, why
Yeah,
you matter. And then
totally
you're
agree.
already perfect. If there is perfection you're seeking, it's right in front of you, and take notice. Yeah.
Excellent. Love it. I will say no more. We will finish there.
Thank
Great
you.
conversation. See, we're just building the energy and the enthusiasm up more and more every week now.
Yes,
We've been here for 3.5 years to the date of this recording,
I
and there's
know.
lots more to come in the
Yes.
future. If you've only just cottoned on to us, you've only just found us, great, welcome. Come and be one of our regular listeners and viewers now, and tell your family and friends about it. If you've benefited, probably they'll benefit too. So we look forward to you joining us. Lots more, and there's plenty of other past episodes for you to catch up on as well in the past. So we'll leave it for there. Thanks very much, Chula. We'll talk to you next time.
Thanks, Ian.